Okay, so the answer to number 11, everyone's got it down? Let's do number 12. So for number 12, to find the x-intercept, you set the equation equal to 0. So you're going to say square root of x plus 1 minus 2 is equal to 0. So to solve for this equation, we need to isolate the square root. To isolate the square root, I need to get rid of that negative 2. How would I get rid of that negative 2? So we're going to add 2 to both sides. So we get the square root of x plus 1 equals 2. To solve for x, we have to get rid of that square root. How do we get rid of a square root? Square. So if I square one side, I have to do it to the other. So the square root of x plus 1 squared, they just it gets rid of the square root symbol, so we're left with x plus 1 over here. 2 squared is 4. Solve for x. X equals 3. So we only have 1 0 here, that's it. So now for the y-intercept, we're going to put 0 in for x. So that's going to say the square root of 0 plus 1 minus 2. 0 plus 1 is the square root of 1. What is the square root of 1? 1. And 1 minus 2 is negative 1. So my y-intercept, negative 1. One more to go over. Number 7. So number 7 is a review from Algebra 2. It may have been a while since you have solved an absolute value. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to set the equation. Don't pack up. You're going to set the equation equal to 0. So I got negative absolute value of x minus 5 plus 3 is equal to 0. So just like before, we had to isolate the square root. Here we have to isolate the absolute value. What needs to move? Good. So to move that, I need to. So now I've got negative absolute value of x minus 5 is equal to negative 3. This is really a negative 1 in front of the absolute value. So how would I get rid of that? Divide. Divide by negative 1. Divide by negative 1. That way these negative 1s cancel out. Absolute value of x minus 5 is equal to 3. Here you have to split it up into two different equations. No, x minus 5 is equal to 3, and x minus 5 is equal to negative 3. So this is your quick review over absolute value. So you set it equal to the original and the negative. Now just solve. So add 5 to both sides. X equals 8. Add 5 to both sides. X equals 2. So my two zeros are 2 and 8. All right. And we still have to find the y-intercept. Put 0 in for x. So we have negative absolute value of 0 minus 5 plus 3. Negative absolute value, 0 minus 5 is, what is 0 minus 5? Negative 5 plus 3. Absolute value of negative 5. What is the absolute value of negative 5? 5. So that means this is going to be negative 2. So your y-intercept is negative 2. Your homework